Hello everyone, my name is Alex and I am a multidisciplinary artist based in Montreal for now. Today's a very special video. I want to share with you so many stories, so many layers and things I've learned and just so many things I want to share. But this is kind of the introductory video about what just happened, right? What just happened. If you are new, welcome. As I mentioned, multidisciplinary artist, and I am just coming back to my home in Montreal from an absolutely life-transforming trip in New York. I was there for a month, and I was there with different, let's say, missions, but the main one, or the one that got me going there, was to participate in Jacob Collier's Hideaway music retreat. So today in this video, I kind of want to divide it into 3 different parts. So whichever interests you more, you can skip to that one specifically. I just want to let you know how I'm thinking about introducing this. The first part I want to share with you is kind of, it's kind of the magic surrounding this event and everything that happened before, and then other like experiences and stories that I heard of other participants that surrounded this event. So kind of giving you a little like personal background into how I approached, or how this event approached me in a way. The second part is to speak to you about how I approached the rest of the trip in New York, which is a very new way of moving for me and traveling. For those that don't know, I travel a lot. It's a very big and important part of getting inspired as an artist, continue growing and building in my personal life. And having grown up in different places, it's something I'm very familiar with, and I would almost say I wouldn't almost say it is a need for me. It's a need for me to travel and explore and get into a mood of curiosity. So anyway, all this to say that the second part is about my new approach to traveling that I tested this time, and I loved it. And then the third part is to speak to you or introduce to you a little bit more in depth what this music retreat was, what we did overall. And then there's going to be, other videos that I'm going to post that are going to go in more in depth about the things and subjects that really resonated with me, the ideas that I'm, that are marinating in my head, anything I want to share about that. But so I'll just say 3 parts. 1, magic. 2, new approach to traveling. And 3, Jacob Collier's Hideaway. Okay? Let's go. Let's dive into the magic. Ooh, okay. Okay, if you watch my first YouTube video that is about the artist's way, week 0. By the way, I haven't forgotten, okay? I haven't forgotten. It's still there. I still haven't done chapter 1, 2, 3. I kind of want to just like really, when I start 1, I kind of really want to be like, okay, I'm going to do the 12 weeks. A lot has happened. So in any case, I'm very grateful for the artist's way, because it's what started me, or kind of gave me like the jump to start the YouTube videos. So all this to say that in this video, this was done in maybe like February 2025. And I think in like January, I just got this feeling that there was a lot of magic in my life. And I have to say that that feeling is still very present. I just got like a vision of there's no turning back now. And all the events that are happening are all moving in a very magical way and taking me somewhere very magical or towards my dreams. And this YouTube channel has been to kind of share my journey with you and tips and tricks and things that I've learned that have helped me. So this magic feeling, okay, kept continuing until it's still present now. And around March of 2025, I got a little nudge to like kind of get back into the idea of kind of like vision boarding, mood boarding, manifesting. And I have a whole story around manifesting. I will leave that and share and save it for another moment. But let's just say that in the past I was a little bit disappointed with what I tried. And I was like, this doesn't work. Thank you. And I was, anyway, I just kind of left it there. And I was just a little nudged to like kind of get back into that or just try it out a little bit again. So in March, or beginning of April, I was like, you know what? I'm not missing anything. I'm not going to lose anything if I just like create this vision board. So I created a vision board on Pinterest. And it's kind of divided into like different kind of things or settings that I want to create in my life and what they look like or what they feel like. And in one of the categories actually, and I think it was the first one I created, is called Artists I Want to Collaborate With. Sorry. No, I'm not apologizing too. I'm laughing. It's fucking funny. So I create this little not carpet. That comes from carpeta in Spanish. This folder, okay? Artists I want to collaborate with. The first one I put in there is Jacob Collier. Additionally, I put a bunch of others that I just really admire. Rawayana, you're in there too. So if you're watching this, we're gonna collaborate at one point. Bad Bunny's there too. Just saying it. I'm just saying. In any case, okay, guys, I created this, and then maybe like 2 weeks later, I was actually super disconnected from social media at that time, but somehow I was like, okay, let me just get on Instagram today. Check out first thing that pops up is something from Jacob Collier. I will get into who this person is if you don't know him. And I see like one picture and I don't really pay attention, and then that's it. And then the next day, there's a video, but it's the same post, you know? It's like when like the carousel, when you don't pay attention to one, maybe the next one you're gonna pay attention. And it took my attention. I was like, I have this announcement. And he announced that he was organizing a music retreat in Tarrytown in New York in August 2025. And this was only 2 weeks after I put him on the mood board or the vision board. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys have this experience, okay? It doesn't even matter the limitations around an event. You know that some things are meant for you. And I saw this and I was like, I am jumping in, leaping in, even if financially makes 0 sense for me right now. In parentheses, I have to say though, it was, in comparison to other types of events like this, it was very, I feel, competitive as price. But it was still a lot for me. And so I just leaped. I took the chance. I got a place, and you know, kind of like let that grow and see where all that experience would take me. And just from the past, I have to say also that these kinds of experiences, I don't know if you guys have had any of these experiences, but the ones, especially for me, that revolve around some kind of travel and some kind of interests that you have, that's very like some kind of passion that you have. In my case, it's been most of the time music. These events, like, they are so absolutely expansive and rich, and have been, like, I still feel the ripples of the effects of these events in terms of the people that I connect with, opportunities that come from that, ideas, new skills that I develop. I had no doubt, and putting there that I wanted to collaborate with, I knew I would have, you know, a little bit more of a close idea of who he was, and closer to that possibility of collaborating with him. And also, collaborating is something that can take many different types of activities and ways, right? So all this to say that I thought that was really magical. And when I was talking about this story to other participants there, there's a couple of people that also mentioned some kind of magical moments like that. One of them was saying that they were meditating on their career, what they wanted to do, and like who they kind of like had as an idol, and they kind of wanted to be more like, and they just meditated, and like the person that came to mind was Jacob. And the next day The retreat pops up, and anyway, all these like magical events surrounding this event. Another person just had the thought like, oh, she's a very big fan of Susie Collier, Jacob's mom, and she was saying that Susie was doing different retreats and music retreats as well. And she said like she just wished like, I wish Jacob would do a retreat as well. And then I think also too, like a week later, he announced that he was doing a retreat. So I just have to say that this is crazy. And it was really cool to be kind of surrounded by people that also, are a little bit like excited about magic and coincidences and synchronicities like I am. So that was kind of like the really cool, magical feel around this. Now, jumping into the new approach of traveling, right? Because my whole trip was centered around this event. But I do have to say that there were certain punctual events happening in New York around this time that I was already having an eye on. Not necessarily that I was going to go, but they were cool coincidences. One of them is that my good friend Junior Nyong'o that I met actually at Berklee College of Music. It was the 5-week summer music program. When I talked about events that have been, like traveling and also learning new skills and centered around a specific passion or subject, this event, Berklee 5-week in 2012, was an absolute life-changing event for me in so many ways. And one of them is the connections and the friends I made, and one of them being Junior. He is such an incredible person, such a talented person, such a loving person. And one of the things that he does is he acts. And I got to see him for the first time acting in a Shakespeare in the Park theater piece, The 12th Night. And also just very magically and beautifully acting with his sister, Lupita Nyong'o. Also got to see Moses Sumney, an artist I really admire and love. I love his creations and his music. So I'm going a little bit too much into detail, but I knew that he was going to be in New York. He was in Kenya before. Anyway, I'm getting all this information that it's hard to coincide with him. So I knew I was trying to see if I could go see him. So it coincided with the dates. I was like, I'm going to pass by New York. Let me stay a little extra and kind of have a little bit of time right now, and let me explore the city and let me connect with people. And when I've traveled in the past, because I want to kind of maximize, the investment of traveling and the time I have somewhere else, like I usually do a lot of research and kind of, set up a plan. Like I'm always open to spontaneity and plans, but usually like I still do a lot of research and have an idea of like, okay, I'm gonna do this and this, and these are the musts and this and this and that. And this time I just really didn't feel like doing a bunch of research and having a list of things to do. I just wanted to connect with people. That was the main thing. It's like, what is the main deal of traveling somewhere else? Like, it's the culture, it's the people, it's what you can't get physically where you are. And through the people, like, people are the best doors to opening and getting to know that culture and, the place through their eyes. So I kind of set myself this time the mission or the idea of traveling through connecting with people, some of them in advance. For example, there's just a couple of friends and a couple of people I'd never met before that I really admire creatively, and just introduced myself and said that I was going to be there for a certain amount of time, and if they wanted to meet up, whether it was just to have a coffee or meet at a place that is important for them or that inspires them, or where they're, I don't know, presenting something or having a show. I'd love to discover New York with them or through them, and connect, And honestly, it was the best thing I could do. It was also a really big theme in my life right now, is just learning to trust more life, learning to trust more in my instincts and my intuition. And somehow, you know, like researching and having a plan and everything, and it's great, you know, it's great. But it's also a little bit about like controlling, you know, like you don't want to miss out on anything, and you want to make sure you're using all the time, and like, and that's great. But I was, in this case, I was like, I just want to go with like trusting that I'm going to be put in front of the right people, that I'm going to connect with the right people, that I'm going to be in the right places, and find the right opportunities. And it's exactly what happened. And I have to say that even my initial idea of like connecting with people in advance and stuff, like even that kind of went like a different way. I'll let you know about more about these connections. But what happened magically really was more like what happened in the moment. The people that I met in places completely like unexpectedly, or I got invited to activities that I didn't even know existed, and then through this activity like met other people, and they invited me to other things, and it was absolutely magical, beautiful. And I feel, or at least I really kind of want to continue doing this. Like, it was so relaxing and also very mysterious, because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like, you just go and don't have much of a plan, and focus on connecting genuinely and authentically with people. It was absolutely incredible. So just know that in you know, the other videos and the other experiences I'm gonna share with you, that's kind of like the vibe that I was in while traveling in New York, and I recommend it 1000%. All right, and so finally, I want to speak to you a little bit about, just so you have an idea of what the Jacob Collier Hideaway Music Retreat was. If you don't know who Jacob Collier is, he is a musician, multi-instrumentalist, just multidisciplinary artist, also does mixing, mastering, producing, like I said, just masters a lot of different instruments. But I feel most importantly, I don't even know if this is a word, but like a humanist. The way he expresses himself is so inspiring, and not just creatively, but just humanly. Like, he speaks with such love and emotion and unity and like healing almost. I really am drawn to that. Like, on top of just loving his music, that is also, this is why it's so interesting, like the kind of crowd that he attracts, because he creates music that is in different genres, and really like cross genre, has collaborated with many different artists around the world. So he's just a very versatile person, and for that, like, just and a very human and beautiful person. So I had, you know, no doubt that the people that were going to go to this event were also going to be or resonate with that way of being. And I was really excited about connecting with those people as well. So Jacob, as I mentioned, led this retreat, this music retreat. And I kind of want to also share that when I heard music retreat, I wasn't really sure like what that meant, or like, I've never really gone to music retreat. I heard that word a little bit more in like a spiritual context, like a yoga retreat, you know, or like a kind of emotional, more like in-depth event. And in this case, and I was kind of thinking more like, oh, well, this sounds more to me like a conference, or like a seminar, like a place where I go with my book and like I write down new ideas and skills and things, you know, and I get inspired. And it was in part that, right? But it wore 100%, the word retreat was very accurate, because it was, and it ended up being, for myself, and as I could observe and sharing with other participants, it also was an event that was very emotional. Like, it shook up a lot of emotions within. It was an opportunity to dive deep within ourselves and with others as well, and almost using a lot of different subjects and elements of music as a metaphor for life and tools, for how to navigate life, and just perspectives that really expanded even more, my way of seeing life, and I feel like other people, also took some of that. So it was a music retreat after all. And what it was an event, a 4-day event in Tarrytown at the House Estate, like Tarrytown House Estate, which used to be a mansion and has a lot of like different houses and spaces, and it was the whole place was transformed for this specific event. So there were a lot of different activities happening, and during these 4 days, Jacob was accompanied by a faculty that he picked, and getting closer to, even not even closer to the date, but like the day of and the day that he presented the faculty, it really was obvious. It really became obvious that it was kind of like through this faculty choice, it was a way of getting more in depth into Jacob's universe and understanding better where he comes from, because all of these people have profoundly shaped who he is in different ways, or his just helped him in different ways throughout his career, and even before his career, just in life. So it felt incredibly intimate and vulnerable, just to be able to have, conversations and exchanges with these people. And I wrote here the list of the faculty, just because I feel like each of them, well, I want to share with you a little bit more in depth of what it was and who was present. But all of them just brought their own flavor, and it was so interesting, what each of them had to share with us. And just before mentioning who the faculty was, the way that it was structured is that we would go into breakout sessions, so like kind of workshops with these faculty members. Then we would have 2 master classes a day with Jacob, around different subjects, like harmony, for example, like creativity in general, or just a little bit more about like where he came from and his journey. Q&A, a talk with his mom, Susie Collier. So really, great master classes, great workshops and breakout sessions. We also had performances from him and other faculty members, or just like invited guests every night. That was super special as well. It's very intimate, and within those performances also got to participate as an audience, a singing audience. He's also, I forgot to mention, but he's also, one of the things he's known for is to singing and including the audience as an instrument in his concerts. So that was also very lovely to participate in that sense. And then in the evenings, there would be jam sessions. And that was kind of like the moment that we had to share and connect with other fellow participants. By the way, the event was open for any kind of level. You didn't have to play an instrument, any age. The youngest person I think was 7 and the oldest 83, if I'm not mistaken. Multi-generational, multicultural. People were coming from different places around the world. And multi-level, like there was just some people that just loved his music or just loved music, and other really advanced players, and everyone was welcome and super supportive. So that was kind of the structure, and that's kind of what happened like every day. And those jam sessions were also, I think, very magical. A lot of great things and connections happened in those sessions. both improvisation, but there were also spaces to sometimes just focus on a specific like subject. Like there was a drumming circle, there was a singing circle, there was another jam session focused on like the creator's original music, and then people would kind of like also join in and jam together and kind of make that song come to life. That was super special. I participated in that one. I definitely want to share more information about that special night. One of the videos is already online. It's El Rap de Mulan, Mulan's rap, and that was incredibly special. So that was kind of like the structure for 4 days, just really, really super intense, not a lot of sleep, but really jam-packed with information and how do you say? Just information and new ideas and perspectives and connections to integrate. And I just want to finish by mentioning who the faculty members were, and I just realized that I forgot to write one, which was one of my favorite. So I'll start with her. Gina Chick was one of the participants in the faculty, and she is a survivalist from Australia. Brought an incredible dimension, I feel, to the faculty with her approach, her very like nature approach, very human approach, very like down to earth. It was about just digging deep into some like subjects like grief and nature and connecting with birds and humming and just exactly what I personally needed right now. More than intellectualizing things, I needed a bit more grounding. And so I took a couple of sessions with her, and I will definitely share more about those experiences. But the list basically of the rest of the faculty includes Andy Powers. He is the CEO of Taylor Guitars, and he created a special like I forget, I don't remember like what the normal string amount is for a guitar, but anyway, he created like a tailored guitar for Jacob. Barak Shmuel is one of Jacob's professors that just really influenced him in so many ways. He is a rhythm nerd and brought so many like interesting perspectives. I got to interact a little bit with him in a drumming circle, and it's really lovely to have him there. Becca Stevens and Dodie and David Longstreth and even Chris Thile were coming more from like the approach of singer-songwriting, composing, talking about their own journeys as well. All brought like a very particular, approach and light to different subjects. And there was even a panel with them together about singer-songwriting. So that was really great. I think each of them were so different and brought a lot of different perspectives. So those were in that area. There's also Ben Bloomberg and Emily Lazar that focused on the mixing and mastering. I love those two. I mean, that's the thing too. I didn't get to do all the sessions, right? We had to select. But that was more like the tech part, the techies, and a little bit more, in that area. And they were really inspiring and a great complementary team. And there was June Lee as well, specializing in harmonization and kind of like approaching or introducing us to Jacob's really crazy, harmony world and universe. I unfortunately didn't get to take any classes with him, but I got to see him perform with Jacob, and it was lovely. They played this kind of like chess game and like piano chess, and it's just really, really lovely to be in his presence. And finally, and last but not least, Susie Collier was also there and also offering some breakout sessions. His mom, who is also a composer and music educator and also violinist. And she was speaking about like creativity and age and performance and curiosity. So a lot of different subjects that were touched upon within these breakout sessions, but also the masterclass: harmony, rhythm, creativity, human life, nature, the body. I already said creativity, composing. Like self-starting as well, like kind of entrepreneurship and your own voice. So lots of great. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. Faculty. I don't think so. If so, I will add the person on the description, but I'm pretty sure those were the amazing people we were surrounded by. I think I just want to leave it there. I think it's a great, way to introduce you and give you more information about what I was doing in New York. Right now, I'm just integrating everything. A lot to integrate. I will keep doing shorter videos to just summarize a lot of these really great ideas that came out of that. Perhaps share some musical things as well, musical ideas, and it's definitely gotten me like connected again with that just beautiful music energy. It's been a while. Video's becoming a little long, so I'm gonna leave it there. But if you have watched the whole way, thank you for joining me in this trip and in this video. And I can't wait to keep sharing with you everything that has come out of this, the documentation as well. I think it's going to be some fun next creations. And if you like this, please support me. I'm trying to make this more and more of a solid platform that can allow me to travel and kind of do more of these types of projects and adventures around the world, where I keep creating and connecting with communities. And I think one of the ways that I'm going to be able to do that is through this platform. So if you feel called to, and if you want to support me, please like this and share with others that might be interested in this. And I think that's it for now. Thank you so much, and I wish you a great day.